I'm giving a talk about psychopaths, and I'm slightly concerned that that's going to like rain on everyone's parade because it's such a bucolic, summer's evening. Do people really want to hear about psychopaths? But that's what a builder's talking about. So, I've got another talk about whittling, which I kind of think would probably go down better. But I'm builders talking about psychopaths. So I'm going to talk about psychopaths. Group called the CCHR. They're a crack team of Scientologists who are determined to destroy psychiatry wherever it lies. And indeed, they have hounded bad psychiatrists to death, which they're very proud of. And I said to Brian, the Scientologist, I said, well, can you prove to me that psychiatry is a pseudoscience that can't be trusted? And he said, yes, I can prove it to you. And I said, how? And he said, I can introduce you to Tony. And I said, who's Tony? And he said, Tony's in Broadmoor. And I said, what did he do? And Brian said, hardly anything. That he beat someone up or something, but what he decided to do was fake madness. He told them they were mad he was mad so he could get out of a prison sentence, and they believed him, and now he's stuck in Broadmoor, and nobody will believe he's sane. Do you want us to get you into Broadmoor to meet Tony? So I said, yes, please. So I'm going to read a little bit from my book of what happened when I met Tony. It is an awful lot harder, Tony told me, to convince people you're sane than it is to convince them you're crazy. I thought the best way to seem normal, he said, would be to talk to people normally about normal things like football. I subscribe to New Scientist. I like reading about scientific breakthroughs. One time they had an article about how the US Army was training bumblebees to sniff out explosives. So I said to a nurse, did you know that the US Army is... Later, when I read my medical notes, I saw they'd written, thinks bees can sniff out explosives. I remember thinking when he told me that it was probably lucky I didn't meet any psychiatrists when I was writing The Men Who Stare at Goats. If people know that, it's a story I was in Hawaii and I met a man called Glenn Wheaton who was part of a secret US military project called Project Jedi. At Fort Bragg. And I said, well, what was Project Jedi? And he said it was a series of levels. I said, what was level 1? He said, level 1 was observation. You walk into a room, how many chairs are in the room? The super soldier would just know. And I said, what was level 2? He said, level 2 was intuition. You know, a fork in the road, do you go left, do you go right? You go right. And I said, what was level 3? He said, level 3 was invisibility. And I said, that's quite a leap from level 2. I said, what, actual invisibility? And he said, at first, but after a while, we adapted it to just trying to find a way of not being seen. I said, like camouflage? And he went, no. And he said, level 4 was we had a master sergeant that could stop the heart of a goat just by wanting it to stop. He said, but unfortunately, we did manage it one time, but his heart got damaged at the same time. And I said, what was the goat psychically fighting back? He said, no, the goat didn't stand a chance. He said, it's what's known as sympathetic injury. He said, one time they had 30 goats in a room, and they had numbers on the goats, and they were all staying at goat number 16, and goat number 17 fell over, which I guess is collateral damage. So I was wondering, now I was a certified psychopath spotter, what I should do with my new powers, and I thought I wouldn't put them to philanthropic good. I would instead think of all the people in my past who had crossed me to see which of them I could out as psychopaths. So obviously top of the list was A.A. Gill, who Does anyone remember the column he wrote about shooting the baboon on safari? He shot a baboon on safari because he said, like all of us, I wondered what it would be like to shoot a person. Classic psychopath. Plus, he gives my television documentaries very bad reviews, which is classic psychopath. I actually bumped into A.A. Gill a few months ago at the Press Awards. And he came up to me. He knew I'd named him as a psychopath in the book. And he came up to me and said, I would never sue another journalist. And I thought, good. I said to him, I said, you know that column you wrote about shooting the baboon on safari because, like all of us, you wondered what it would be like to shoot a person? I said, that's not all of us. It's not a normal thing to think. It's just you. And he said, because you don't hunt, you would never understand. So I said, I sell more books than you do.